Good morning, dear students. I am Archana Trivedi, Assistant Teacher from GGIC, Bareilly. Today we will enjoy, learn, and study the wonderful poem Rain on the Roof, composed by Coates. I think it's a wonderful time to study this beautiful poem, Rain on the Roof. So let's discuss the contents that we will study through this chapter, to this lesson. First thing that we have to discuss is the first point, poet and his life history. Then we will study how to recite the poem, it means recitation of the poem. Third point that we will discuss is the stanza wise explanation of the poem. After that, we will learn the difficult words, then central idea of the poem. Sixth, we will start to learn the questions based on the stanzas, then rhyming words. Secondly, at the eighth point, we will discuss the discussion about the literary devices. And last and the most important thing that we will do is the homework for self-assessment. This poem is composed by Coates Kelly. Coates Kelly was born in 1826 near Penyan, New York. He was an American lawyer, politician, journalist, and a poet. He became a journalist and worked on papers in Cincinnati, Ohio, Virginia, Springfield, Illinois. He was the senator from the 5th District in the Ohio legislature 1882-1883 and delivered a speech against the official railroad pass. He wrote poetry and his verses were collected in the Kyoka and other poems and lyrics of the ideal and the real of his verses. The Rain on the Roof, which was set to music, was the most popular. He died in Ohio on 25th January 1900. It is the rhythm of the poem that differentiates the poem from the prose. So let's recite the poem. When the humid shadows hover over all the starry spheres and the melancholy darkness gently weeps in rainy tears. What a bliss to press the pillow of a cottage chamber bed and lie listening to the patter of the soft rain overhead. Now we will recite the second stanza. Every tinkle on the shingles has an echo in the heart, and a thousand dreamy fancies into busy being start. Weave their ear threads into weave as I listen to the patter of the rain upon the roof. Now the third and the last stanza. Now in memory comes my mother as she used in years ago to regard the darling dreamers ere she left them till the dawn. Oh, feel her fond look on me as I listen to this refrain which is played upon the shingles by the patter of the rain. Now this is the first stanza. First of all, we will discuss the difficult words. Here the word humid. Humid means full of moisture. Next word, that is shadows, refer to the moisture laden clouds which cast a shadow on the earth. It means clouds that are full of water, that are full of moisture. Another word, hover, means moving here and there, move around something. Melancholy means sadness. Bliss is the word that is used for happiness. Patter, it is the sound that is created by the raindrops that fall on the roof. So, when we talk about this stanza and this stanza, poet just listens the sound of the raindrops that are falling on the roof. These sounds, it appears to him that it is the sound is not only the sound of raindrops, but it is the melancholy sound, it is the sound of sadness of now, the clouds. The second stanza. Here we will first of all we will discuss the difficult words. Here the word tinkle is used. Every tinkle on the shingles. Tinkle again it is the sound word. Then the word shingles. I think you have seen the roof that is made by the rectangular pieces. That is known as the shingles. Echo. It is the repeated sounds. Woof, weft. You have listened the word in Hindi, sapne bunna. The same thing, the word is used here, woof. Busy being, it is the word that is used for human beings. So every tinkle from the single has an echo in the heart. The sound that is created by the raindrops created a different type of sound in the heart of the poet. And a thousand dreamy fancies into busy being start. As he listens the sound of the raindrops, different types of fancies, different type of imagination come in the poet's mind. And a thousand recollections weave their threads into the roof as I listen to the patter of the rain upon the roof. That sound, it is not only the sound of the raindrops, it is the sound that is creating, that is created recollections of his memories. Now, the third stanza that we will discuss here. Now in memory comes my mother, as she used in years ago to regard the darling dreamers, array. Now here you can see the word array. It is the word that is used in the olden English. It means before. Array, she left them till the dawn. Dawn means here daybreak. The word list, you can see here, it is the short form of listening. After that, the word you can see refrain. Refrain means repeated sounds. Here, the poet is discussing about the sound that is created by the raindrops. Now, dear students, through this stanza, poet wants to tell that this patter sounds creates a different type of emotions in his heart. These emotions just recollect the memories of his mother. When in his childhood age, he feels that he again in his childhood age, each sound of raindrop create a different type of emotions. Now we will discuss the central idea of the poem. Central idea of Rain on the Roof by Coates Kelly reveals a poem lending the healing power of nature's rain, especially when heard from a crazy bear in a lovely cottage. The first tells that it is a pleasant to live and sleep snugly in a cottage on a rainy night. The second, that the tinkle of the rain brings dreamy fancies with bright hues of recollections. In the third, the fondest memory of his mother stood before him in all her gentle loveliness by the patter of the wind. The rhyme scheme an unusual one, but was once used by Mozart in his opera così fan. We will discuss the most important thing that will used to come in the exams. So first thing, the first question, what does humid shadows refer? This word humid shadow is used in the first stanza. Humid shadows refers to the clouds. Second question, where does the poet lie? The poet lies in his bedroom. Next question, what do you mean by recollections? Recollections means past memories. What does the poet listen? The poet listens to the sound of raindrops falling on the roof. What comes in the memory of the poet? Poet's mother comes in his memory. Which word is used for the sound of raindrops? The word patter is used for the sound of raindrops. Who comes in the memory of poet? Poet's mother comes in his memory. Which word is used for the sound of the raindrops? The word patter is used for the sound of raindrops. The most important thing of a poem is its rhyming scheme, or we can say its rhythm. So the thing that we have to concentrate in our mind, that words that sound the same, they are known as the rhyming words. Now they are usually at the end of the lines of a poetry. Remember one thing, that we always look at the last, at the end of every line. When we talk about the modern age, there are verses without having any rhyme, without having any rhythm. They are known as blank or free verse. So now we will discuss about the rhyme scheme. A rhyme scheme is the pattern of rhymes at the end of each line of a poem or a song. It is usually referred to by using letters to indicate which lines rhyme. Lines designated with the same letter by the rhyme with each other. In this poem that we have read, we are reading just now, Rain on the Roof, its rhyming scheme is A, B, C, B, D, E, F, E. Now see, let's see here, you can see the rhyming words. The words which are highlighted, they have the same sound. Now see here, spheres, tears, they have the same sound. Bed, overhead, these words bed and overhead, they have the same sound. Now let's come to the second stanza here. Heart and start, same sound. Woof, roof, they have the same sound, so these are rhyming words. Agone and dawn, and the last one you can say here, refrain and rain, these words have the same sound. So these are the rhyming words. The main thing that we will discuss here, it is the literary devices that used to come in the poem. See, first thing is that we will discuss, it is alliteration. Alliteration means repetition of one consonant again and again, and it created the beauty. It is known as the alliteration. You can see here, first of all, see the definition here. Alliteration is defined as a poetic device in which the consonant sounds are repeated in the words that appear together. It means one sound is repeating again and again. You can see here, lie listening, la, the sound is la. In the second point you can see here, stereosphere, the sound sa is repeating. Third one you can see, humid hover, the sound h, ha. And the last one you can see, press pillow, the sound pa. It is, so you can see in the word press and pillow, both the words, the sound is pa. Next literary device that we will discuss here, it's the personification. Personification is defined as a poetic device that involves using a human quality to describe a non-living thing or object. It is the quality of a poetry that we can give life even to the non-living things. You can see here, melancholy, darkness. Darkness can never be melancholy, it is the man. So here the word melancholy, darkness, it's a melancholy, the darkness is not melancholy, but the person is melancholy. In the same here, you can see the second example, and 1,000 recollections weave their threads into woof. 1,000 recollections means fancies, imagination, they cannot do anything. It's the people. So here again the word literary device personification is used. You can see the beauty of transferred epithet in this poetry also. You can see, first of all, let's see what is transferred epithet. Transferred epithet is defined as a poetic device in which an adjective is added before the name of a person or object in order to bestow positive or negative quality to that object. It can be more clear by giving these examples. Melancholy, darkness. Again, this word melancholy is used for the person. Same thing, dreamy fancies. Dreamy fancies, again, the fancies are not dreamy. It's the persons. So, you can see transfer epithet and personification. Examples are same. But when we discuss them, then we will find out the difference between transferred epithet and personification. Third and the last one, that is onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia means the sound. The sound. So let's see the definition. Onomatopoeia is defined as a poetic device in which certain words are used to denote real life sound. You can see the word patter. In the second stanza you can see the word tinkle. Both these words define the sound. So we'll start to do the exercise. First exercise that we will use to complete the lines. Now see, when the humid shadows hover over all the starry spheres, and the melancholy darkness gently weeps in rainy tears. Every tinkle on the shingles has an echo in the heart, and 1,000 dreamy fancies into busy. Let's read the poem again. We will recite the poem. We will enjoy the poem now. When the humid shadows hover over all the starry spheres, and the melancholy darkness gently weeps in rainy tears. What a bliss to press the pillow of a cottage chamber bed and lie listening to the patter of the soft rain overhead. Every tinkle on the shingles has an echo in the heart, and a thousand dreamy fancies into busy being start. And a, and a thousand recollections weave their ear threads into wove as they listen to the patter of the rain upon the roof. Now in memory comes my mother, as she used in years agone, to regard the darling dreamers ere she left them to the dawn. Oh, I feel her fond look on me as I list to the refrain, which is played upon the shingles by the pattern. Now we will discuss the moral message of the poem. The poem, The Rain on the Roof, teaches us that, like the rain, we should find joy and contentment in making people around us happy. Rain brings respite from heat and great joy to all living beings. Now, at last, it's a homework here. First question, find out the rhyming words of the poem. Second question, learn 8 lines of this poem and write them down in your note. I hope you have enjoyed the class. So, learn this poem, enjoy this poem, and the next class we will meet again. Till then,